Melissa, I really appreciate.
Good morning. Welcome to the first ever Athlete Mentor Signing Day. This is a major moment for Classroom Champions and everybody watching. Before we begin, I'm your host, Melissa Bishop. I'm a three-time Olympian in track and field. I run the 800. I'm Canada's fastest woman in the 800 currently. And my co-host,
Yes, I am also very excited for today and excited to host alongside you, Melissa. I am Christian Taylor, two-time Olympic champion, four-time world champion in the sport of track and field also. So a lot of track and field love in the chat, in the building, and we're just excited to be here.
Christian, you are a mentor here at Classroom Champions currently. How long have you been a mentor here?
Since 2014, believe it or not. It seems like yesterday that I got on board and actually has really changed my life, impacted my sport, and impacted everything who I've become. But I'm just so proud to be a mentor and to continue this.
Awesome. Thank you for being here with me. For classrooms tuning in today, today is the day that our world-class athlete mentors will be assigned to a classroom that they will mentor for an entire year. This means while an athlete is on their competition journey this year, they will check in with classrooms via video calls and they'll share monthly videos. How does this happen? Through this program called Classroom Champions. Classroom Champions empowers children to thrive academically, socially, emotionally. Through the mentorship and mindset of world-class athletes, we improve student engagement, build growth mindsets, and inspire positive classroom culture. So Christian, I just asked you how long you were a mentor. I am also a mentor here in this program. I have been here as a mentor for about a year now. And what got me on board at the very beginning of this, Steve Messler, CEO of Classroom Champions, he started this program with his sister from the very beginning. I was on a call with Steve and we were talking to a younger class. I'm not sure, they were in Calgary. I would say they're probably grade 2 or 3. He was telling them my story. I finished 4th in the Rio Olympics in the 800. My goal was 3rd. I wanted a medal. And so he asked the kids, is it okay that Melissa didn't reach her goal? Is she allowed to be upset? And the class, half of them went like this and the other half went like this. And that was my aha moment. I need to be involved in this program. We have so much to provide to children, not from the movement standpoint, although we totally can do that, but all the skills that we learn on a daily basis as athletes and the experiences that we go through are so important to teach our students. So, every year we try and bring in at least 15 to 20 new athletes who are looking for the same thing to mentor a classroom.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll touch on a little testimonial on even my journey of being a mentor. So, of course, shout out to Steve Lee. Steve being a Florida Gator, I've got to throw this in. So, my Florida love. But when he actually challenged me and brought me on board, becoming a mentor, it was the perfect time. So, I actually finished my first Olympic Games, London, 2012, and I was very proud. I was an Olympic champion and felt like I was on top of the world. Believe it or not, though, as we are in individual sports, we spend a lot of time training alone and recovering alone. And I just felt like I lacked this community that I once had when I was doing club in AAU or in the NCAA program. I just felt like I reached my goal, but I almost felt like I did it by myself. And I thought there must be more to my career. There must be more that I could give back to my community. And really, he said, I've got the program for you. Come to Classroom Champions, give these classes, give these students a chance. And I'm telling you, your life will change, your career will change. As I said, I reached my ultimate goal. I was Olympic champion. And I still yearned for more. And when I had that moment where I was sharing the medal with the students, but also saying, guys, my next goal was to be the world record holder. I wanted that so bad. I wanted to have that asterisk by my name. And I asked them what I needed to do to reach that goal. They made it very simple, and they said, "Run faster and jump farther." And for me to see my career through that lens, I was like, "You're completely right." I try to make it overcomplicated and wanted to have all the sports science and everything aligned, and they just said, "Just do it and do it further." Right. And so I just love that, and I'm so grateful to be a part of this program, and I'm just hoping that the athletes that see this are encouraged by it and excited about it. And this also is an opportunity to bring new athletes on board.
Christian, I love that because oftentimes we do overcomplicate things, and it is just the simplicity of how students think. And we give to them, but I don't think they realize how students give back to us too. And we have a couple surprise guests for everybody here on our live stream today. But for any of our athletes in the program, but for any athletes not in the program, you would be shocked how much you get out of this. It is such a feel good, but to be able to connect with those students that are yours for an entire year, they provide you with so much.
Absolutely. So at Classroom Champions, we say that we like to instill the athlete mindset to those that we are mentoring, to the students and even the teachers. We like to, share a lot of love to our teachers that we work with. But as a competing athlete, there are some skills that do actually transfer over from the track, the court, the field to those classrooms. For instance, one of my favorite lessons that we get to share in the program is goal setting. Goal setting is a key part of success because you got to know what you're working towards. And so for an athlete, it is, as I spoke about, winning that gold medal. That is the finish line. That is what we're chasing after. But for a student, it could be just learning how to read. I've had bilingual students that actually want to be able to speak and read, in English, and I thought that was so amazing. And to see their progress, to have these live chats, and to just watch them grow. It's been so encouraging also because I thought if they can do it, so can I. And so I think that hits on exactly what you said, Melissa. We are even being inspired as we are working to inspire our students. Another part of who we are is, we really like to hone in on the social emotional learning aspect. And so emotions are a key part of who we are. And for an athlete, in that key moments where all the pressures on our shoulders, it's being in tune, but also being in control of those emotions, letting those nerves sometimes fuel you and push you to performances that maybe you didn't even know you had in store. Staying calm, staying focused, and being relaxed before a race can help you win the race, help you meet those personal best marks. And for a student, it can be the same thing. We all have standardized tests that sometimes we can be scared of and nervous about. That did we maybe grasp all the information that we learned throughout the year, but knowing that our teachers have prepared us, our parents have helped us study for us, our classmates are also going through it with us, and that we do have the tools that can help us succeed. Staying calm, staying relaxed, staying focused, and knowing that you have what it takes to be successful.
Couldn't agree more. And I will say, part of what we do here at Classroom Champions is just recognizing what that emotion is. How does it feel to be angry? How does it feel to be nervous? I don't know about you, Christian, but I'll be honest. I was nervous getting on this live stream. And I think we just have to recognize that we are all human and we make mistakes. We don't always achieve our goals. Sometimes we do achieve our goals, we get gold medals, and sometimes we don't. And it's okay because we're all human. Another theme that we talk about here at Classroom Champions, which is probably my favorite, is community. Christian, I know both of us are in the same sport. We're both in individual sports, and a lot of the athletes we work with can attest to this. Who who does your community consist of in the sport world, and how can we relate that back to the classroom for our students?
Absolutely. So community is so important because I believe they do help shape, they help mold you, they help push you, encourage you towards your goals. And so my family, my friends, my pastors, but My students and my teachers are a key part of my community because, as I said, from reaching my goal at the highest point, I still needed more to fan that flame. And my students are the ones that are saying, "Go further. You can do it." And so, they have been a key part of my community.
I
And
love that.
you?
Yeah, I will say my community, now I have this Classroom Champions community, the students that I work with. As an athlete, it's my coach, it's my physio, it's my massage therapist, it's my sports psychologist, it's my family, my husband, my kids. Like, you just create a community. Your community are the people that are there when you're at your best, at your very highest, and when you're at your very lowest, they're there for you all the time. Perseverance, it's another skill that we like to talk about. For any athlete, I think perseverance would probably be the top choice of word that they live by in their career. We work so hard as athletes, to get to a certain point in our career and reach our goals. And so, an example of perseverance for an athlete would be coming back from an injury, training through that in order to reach a gold medal. So, for example, 2015, I started my year very injured. I had two injuries back to back. I had to find different ways to train in order to be the best in the world. I came out of that year with a Pan Am gold medal, a Canadian record, a silver medalist at the world champs. It's perseverance. And for our students, it's the exact same thing. Spending 30 minutes of extra time a day studying for a class that you're not naturally good at. That was me when I was a student. When I was, for all the students watching, when I was your age and my bum was seated in a seat that you're sitting in right now, math was not something that came easily to me. And it was one of the subjects that I had to work hard at. I knew that I needed to learn the basis of what we were doing so that I could move on. And it was just that little bit of extra time that I chose to put in to myself in order to be better.
That's so good. I think perseverance even ties in very closely with resilience, right? And this is something that we all have. That when we search deep, we know that we can overcome. But it is, when you fall, that you don't give up, that you get back up, and with the community, you don't have to get up alone. You don't have to have all the strength, all the answers. That you can lean on your teachers, your classmates, to help you get through it. And so I think it's awesome that you honed in on that, which leads me to teamwork. I mean, teamwork is another key part of athleticism, a part of our classrooms. The common saying that teamwork makes the dream work. This I feel like this is so true on so many different levels. And again, honing in on that sense of community, that sense that you don't have to do it alone, and how important it is that you're mindful of the people that are around you, because you want to make sure that they are uplifting, that they're positive, and that they are helping you get to where you want to go. But also, that you can contribute, that you can help back, and you can give. I think that is also very important. That it's not always about receiving, but also giving, because know that you have gifts and talents that the world is excited to receive and witness. And so, as an athlete, I think there are moments that. For an individual sport, it's very different, because a lot of it is about me, me, me. But for those that I have a lot of my students that play soccer, that play basketball, that play football, and at many times you have the opportunity where the shot clock is the buzzer's about to go, and you have an opportunity to maybe make that game winning shot, but you say, you know what, it's not going to be my day. I'm going to be a better teammate, pass the ball, and maybe let somebody else have that opportunity to be lifted up, to share in that glory. And I think that's such a beautiful thing, and something that you're going to cherish, but also your teammate was cherished, because you could be selfish. You could say, I'm gonna go for the glory, but I know that it is a team, and that when we win, when we win something, we win it together. And I think there's really an added bonus with that. And actually in the classroom, the same thing applies. That, as I spoke about, when there's a test coming up, or even a project, that I always encourage my students, don't be scared to ask questions, don't be scared to lean on each other, because maybe somebody does understand something and can help you out. And so, when you are maybe in a tricky situation and you need some help, lean on your classmates, or be willing to offer your classmates some help, to help them also succeed, help them also reach their goals. And that could play a huge role in everyone's growth. But making your community better, making your classroom better, and again, showing love to our teachers, helping those teachers out, right?
Yeah,
And so teamwork makes the dream work.
I agree. And isn't it so much the feeling of success is so much sweeter when you have a team
Oh,
behind you and working with you.
absolutely.
I can remember when I was a little girl, again, back to being a student, we did this science fair project. We dipped marshmallows and like all these different toppings, and then we sprinkled, sprinkles and chocolate chips on them. But it was a project that we took on, my best friend and I, and the the feeling that you get that like we did this together is so much better when you can do it with a team.
Come on. I mean, I wish I would do that project now. That sounds like it tastes really good. So
Yeah.
I would be game to try that. Um, Another important lesson that we really can relate to is feedback. Having that coach, nutritionist, therapist, whoever that may be, a professional that we as athletes are really counting on to give us some insight to help us reach those goals. Getting sometimes feedback that can be constructive, that's can almost make us stand back a little bit. And we always want to be pushed up and said that you're doing it right, but we all know that we're not perfect. And so sometimes getting constructive feedback can be helpful, because you just step back and say, you know what, somebody is trying to help me reach my goal. Someone can see something that maybe I don't recognize. I'm going to take it in. I'm going to trust them and know that they want the best for me. And for students, it can be a teacher giving you feedback on a presentation, on an assignment, on a test, to say, hey, just maybe spend a little more time studying, maybe prepare a little bit more, maybe take better notes, whatever that may be. Know that they have your best interests at heart.
I love that. One last thing before we bring our guests in. Healthy living is one other thing that we touch on. So, Christian, as an athlete, recovery, recovery, recovery. This is the only word that keeps running through my head. Is how do we recover hard so that we can perform at our best? And really simply put, it's it's eating and it's sleeping the best that we can in order to perform. And that is no different for our students here today. Good sleep, eating healthy habits, it will help you learn better, be better, and really work hard towards your dreams.
Absolutely. And I'd also like to throw in hydration. I know a lot of
Yes.
kids aren't big fans of drinking water, but
Yes.
hydrate, 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 a key part of recovery. You're going to feel good, sleep better, everything. So I definitely want to throw that out there. I almost feel like we can jump into our guest interviews. I
Ooh, we
think this is
should.
why I mean, we're here. We're excited. I'm sorry to push off it is signing day. And before we tell you guys who you are paired with, we're going to bring in some veteran athletes, some new athletes, to just talk about their experiences and what they've been through as we've shared ours, but also to highlight what's to come. So without further ado, let's bring in some of our returning mentors. Let's see who's in the building. All right. Kelly
Hello.
Curtis and Cody Jones. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank
Welcome
you.
back. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. Excited to be here.
Oh yeah, same here.
We are so thrilled that you guys have come in to join us. You guys are returning athlete mentors for us. You've been here, you've been mentors, just like Christian, for quite some time. I'd love if we could start, if you could each introduce yourselves, tell us what sport you're involved in, and how long you've been a mentor here at Classroom Champions. Kelly, why don't you start for us?
Sure, yeah. So Kelly Curtis, I slide skeleton for Team USA. This is my second year with Classroom Champions. And yeah, my first year, I loved being a mentor. One of my competitors actually decided to bring me on, a slider from the Canadian skeleton team. So I'm so grateful that she did. And yeah, I'm excited to be here for the official signing day, for the official kickoff, and looking forward to a new school year.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I mean, thanks for returning, and obviously we'd love to hear about your experience as I could almost say a veteran, right? I mean, 2 years, you hung in there. So what advice would you give maybe a new mentor that is now onboarding and joining the program?
Oh, I would say share as much information as you can. Christian, you touched on a lot of really positive things, connecting what we do in athletics to what we can bring to our students in the classroom. So I think connecting that is very helpful. Also collaborating. I know last year, one of our monthly updates we were doing was from a snowy track in Altenburg, Germany. And I hopped on with the slider who brought me on, Jane Chanel from Canada, and we both did an update together. And I think that was pretty powerful to show that even though we're competitors on the ice, we're still going to come together and bring something to all of our classrooms. So, yeah, I'd say just delve in. You never really know what your students are going to chime in on and what's going to really light them up. For me, for my students, I'm also in the U.S. Air Force. I'm stationed over in Italy. So I get to show them a little bit around where I'm living. And I have this huge belt for being the Air Force Athlete of the Year. And it's just something that I have around. And then when I mentioned it, they were like, oh, can we see it? Can we see it? So that really sparked a lot of joy for them. So yeah, you never really know. So just try to incorporate as much as you can, and then you see what sticks.
Love it.
I think that's great advice, Kelly. Cody, can you introduce yourself? Tell us how long you've been a mentor, what sport you do?
Of course, my name is Cody Jones. I've been 3 or 4 years now. Sometimes all the years blend together, which is amazing. I'm glad I'm back for another year. I throw the javelin for Team USA. I'm a Paralympian, so my story deals a little bit with disability. I have cerebral palsy on my left side, which means my muscles just don't work as well. But I get to meet cool people. I heard about Classroom Champions through Lex Gillette. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Lex. He's a visually impaired long jumper and really good at what he does. And he was my roommate for a few months. And I would just see him film some videos. I'm like, what are you doing? And he told me about Classroom Champions. So, yeah, that's me.
That is our community shining through here, you guys. Jane and Lex both referring you guys, and you guys coming in and loving the program. That's our community doing magic. Cody, what advice do you give to the students and the mentees listening today to get the most out of Classroom Champions?
Yeah, I am a big fan of being authentic. In my car, it's very messy. If you want the full tour, I feel like there's background noise, but honestly, this is the quietest space in my life, so that's why I'm in my car on my phone. When you're authentic, you're able to build those real connections. If we try to put on fake smiles or a mask, so to say, then it's really hard to connect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect, but we could build a good community together.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Kelly, can you tell me, a lot of our students are back into the swing of a new school year. A new school year often means a new grade, new challenges, new skills to learn. How do you deal with change and adversity?
That's a great question. I would say try to reframe it as not so much of adversity as more as an opportunity, even if you're going to a new school, that's a perfect time for a new opportunity to take advantage of all your new surroundings. And for me, I would say to stay curious about everything. I know growing up in central New Jersey, it gave me a stable lifestyle where if I was going to a new school or making new friends, it just gave you the opportunity to stay curious and really question everything about what's going on with your school year, what's going on with your new teachers, opportunities to create new relationships. So yeah, just staying curious.
Awesome. And I mean, Kelly, we already heard about your belt, what an accomplishment that is. And obviously, I want to see it. So thanks for already, bringing some interest in that. Cody, for you, what is one of the maybe the greatest accomplishments or something that you were just really proud of from this last year that, maybe you shared with previous class, but now that we're, introducing, you can be paired to the new ones. something that you can kind of throw out to highlight yourself?
Yeah, this is recent. I made the world championship team this past year, and we got to go to Paris. I got sixth place, so I didn't win a medal, unfortunately, but still, it was a better season than I've had in years. I've been throwing the javelin for about 8 or so years, and as athletes, we have better years than others, and so this year was a good year. That's what I'm excited about.
Wow. Incredible. Congratulations. And I mean, for those aspiring now for the Olympics are coming up next year, right? So any things that you would give us, a place to eat, something that we should look out for?
Yes, make sure to go for the crepes. The crepes are very good and they're everywhere. It's like Starbucks there, but like actually like, I don't know, it's just really good. And go to the Eiffel Tower if you haven't. It's beautiful. That's my only two things for France. I'm really excited to see the Olympics and Paralympics coming up next year. It's going to be amazing.
Me too. I'm going to make sure I get over there. It's not too far from me.
Yeah, you said Italy, right? Is that yeah.
I love the hype leading into an Olympic Games. Like there's nothing quite like it, and it's such a special time. I can imagine it's somewhat similar to our students starting a new school year, like that hype of going into something that really is unknown, but you know that you have all the tools to do it and you're going to be supported along the way. I do want to say a quick hello to Miss Karen's class, Miss Maya's class, and Miss Williams' class. Thank you for watching. We are so excited to tell you who your mentor is going to be this year. We can't wait. We would actually love to hear from you guys who are watching. Whether you're watching now or at a later time, send us some questions. Markeith is also watching. He's a mentor with us. Markeith Price, hello to you.
Markeith.
Cody and Kelly, do you guys have any questions for our athletes, our students, or our teachers?
How can we best serve you? Besides, like what in addition to the awesome program of the Classroom Champions? Don't know if that's a good question or not.
That's a great question.
That's great. I feel sorry for Kelly.
I have to ask another question other than that. Jeez. How do we best serve you? How do I follow up with that? Yeah.
Okay, Kelly, tell me this then. What's been your favorite part about being a mentor here at Classroom Champions?
Oh man, my favorite part was definitely last June. I was able to go back stateside, and it was sort of a last minute trip, and Classroom Champions was able to organize a live meeting. Like I've done my live chats from afar, from different time zones, but I was able to go in person, and I had no idea the amount of impact that I had on the students. It was in Pennsylvania. I went up to a school and I didn't really know what to expect. I just thought, I'd speak to them in an auditorium or maybe in a cafeteria like I did last time. And it turned out that there was their field day, which was always my favorite day of the year in elementary school. And they stopped the rest of their activities for the day, and they were chanting my name as I was approaching them, and they just all wanted an autograph and pictures, and I was signing somebody's Jordans, and I was like, does your mom know I'm doing this? They took what we put together as Classroom Champions and ran with it and made it part of their curriculum. And they knew exactly who I was when I showed up. They followed my journey throughout the entire school year, and they were so excited to see me. And I had, honestly, like the virtual thing is great, but seeing it in person just made it all the more special. I didn't know the impact that I had. And then to be able to see that in person was just, it brought me a lot of joy.
I think that's the feel good part of this, is that you don't realize the impact that you're having on the students that you mentor. Cody, do you have a favorite moment?
Yeah, it's similar to Kelly's. I got the opportunity to go visit my school live as well, and they had it's a very small school that I served, and it was awesome. Very small town. I feel like my family was bigger than the town. I don't know. It was just that type of town. I loved it. And they had a track meet there, and being a track athlete, it just kind of fit. And I got to help coach some of their middle school athletes with the javelin, believe it or not, and they were throwing it pretty far. So maybe they're gonna go for LA 2028. Fingers crossed. So yeah, that was just a cool experience. I'm like, what is this? I'm in the middle of nowhere at a school like I've only met virtually, and we're connecting over the javelin and our shared classroom champions community. I want to go back. I don't know. It's just such a good experience.
Yeah, and it is really impactful, right? And this is what I highlighted at the beginning. Like when you join this program, you have no idea actually the impact your students are actually going to make on your life, right? And so I love that you guys share this, and that makes me wonder when we talked about these lessons transferring from our athletic lives to the classroom. I mean, vice versa, right? How has being a mentor transferred into helping you as an athlete?
That's a good one.
That
Uh,
is.
I know we've been talking about emotions. I think this year we'll be talking about emotions a lot, and it's been an up and down. There's been good personal things and bad personal things in my life, and so just to focus on the idea of like, hey, emotions aren't necessarily good or bad, but how we respond and how we can handle and how we can find our center. Um, that was like, all right, I got to do that in all areas of my life, including athletics. So that one sticks out to me the most right now.
That's good.
Yeah. And I'd say for me, being able to articulate, like you said, emotions, all the topics that we go over throughout the year, sending those videos in, you have to reflect and you have to think about a time where you can connect your experience and trying to translate that into your students and hopefully help your students. And that reflection time and being able to articulate it has helped me. So then when I have moments while sliding or in competition, or even this upcoming year, I'm taking a year of maternity leave. And I know that, and so I know that a lot of these things, I'm like, oh, let me write down. So then, when I get to that age, when she's this old, I have to make sure I'm honing in on these certain subjects. So yeah, I think being able to reflect and articulate has helped me become a better athlete and hopefully a better mom. And yeah, I just love the whole concept of it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this, right? Like it forces you to reflect on your own journey, and you learn so much about yourself, which is such a beautiful piece of this. Do either of you, Christian, to you too, any mentors for yourselves? As a student, think of our students at the age they're at right now. Did you have mentors at that age?
Anybody want to join?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. For me, it was a lot of I played baseball before I threw the javelin, and so it was a lot of my baseball coaches. They knew I was disabled, and they didn't let me give up because sometimes, when there are challenges in our life, we tend to give in to the challenge and be like, "Oh, it's too hard. Let me just go home and do nothing." And my coaches wouldn't let me do that, so they expected a lot from me, and because of that, I kept getting better and better and better. And then after high school, that's when I started throwing the javelin, and it led to all this. So I appreciate my coaches at every stage.
Yeah, for me, I'd say my parents, especially my father. He was a former NFL player, and then when I was growing up, he was an athletic director, and he just threw myself into so many different sports. And even when I didn't want to continue on or I had a lot of doubt, he would just encourage me to stick through and, see what would happen. And I never expected to become a Winter Olympian, especially because I hate the cold. So that was I didn't even know about my sport until I turned 23. So yeah, he was definitely a mentor throughout my whole life, still is. So my father and my mother as well, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say quickly, if I can add, I would give a shout out to my fourth grade teacher, Miss Patrick. She was a huge mentor for me because she challenged me, I guess, more than I would like to be challenged at this age. And so I was really just, I don't want to say just trying to skate by, but I was just happy to just be in the class, right? Do the work. When is PE coming? When is field day coming? Like, I was the active kid. And so, but she was my science teacher, and she was the one that was actually challenged me to go a bit further, to take her class a bit more serious. And actually it started a passion of science for me that I didn't know I had inside. And so I actually grew up thinking I was going to be an astronomer, because she actually had a science program after school that was really about space. And so I just became so intrigued. And it's because of great teachers out there that can really make an impact, that I still think about today. And so thankfully for technology, we have Facebook. Before it was MySpace. I know a lot of the kids aren't going to know about this now, but we're able to stay in touch as we travel, and I get to share my journey with her, and just continue to grow. But shout out to Miss Patrick for being my mentor.
Thank you all for sharing that. Each of you, Kelly and Cody, you mentioned your sport. So let's tell our students something for our students that you didn't know that you know now, and how did you keep going when times got tough?
That's a good one. I didn't even know what the javelin was when I was first so how I got into it, which answers your question, when I was playing baseball, there was a newspaper article that showed how I played baseball with a disability. And then the Paralympic track and field coaches saw that. And she was like, hey, you throw a baseball, you should throw this javelin. And I'm like, that's cool. What is a javelin? So I learned that it's a giant spear, which is really fun. So whenever I show my students that, they're always excited. And sometimes I'll just throw in my backyard, and we'll video call and whatnot. But yeah, it's 8 feet tall and 2 pounds. So really, I learned everything about my sport. And the pointy ends is the end that you want to throw forward, and then the smaller pointy end is the tail. It's like an airplane. That's what I learned. And the second part of your question was, how do I keep going? How do I keep training? There's always like another goal, which is fun, and I want to just kind of hit that goal until my body tells me to stop. So for me, I probably am gonna try to compete till LA 2028, and by that time, my body might be too tired to throw the javelin because it hurts the shoulder. It hurts the shoulder.
Kelly, what about you?
For me, really quickly, skeleton is a Winter Olympic sport. We go 80 miles per hour head first on a T-tray looking sled. It's like an extreme slip and slide. If you know what bobsled is, it's the sister sport to bobsled. But yeah, I got into it. I was a former heptathlete in college, and then I was in graduate school in upstate New York. And I was like, if I'm going to be out here in this cold, I might as well try something in the cold. But it was my curiosity that led me to it. Tried bobsled at first, and I liked it. I didn't love it. And I tried skeleton in Lake Placid, New York. And your first time on a sled there, they push you off from halfway up, and they're like, hope to see you at the bottom. So your instincts just take over. And I got to the bottom, I survived, and then I was like, how do I go faster, and how do I work my way up to the top? So it's been about 8 or 9 years now, and I'm still trying to find the final things to make me go that much faster. So that's what keeps me going when it gets tough. It's really that curiosity to see where I can land among the best women in the world that do this crazy extreme sport.
I first off, I don't even know how you would just in your right mind choose to do something like this.
You're not in your right
Yeah. Yeah. So, really a lot of respect for that, for literally risking your life. But it's really easy for us to talk about the good times and when things go right. But we all know in life, right? Melissa spoke about being human. And unfortunately, that means that there are going to be failures and setbacks and challenges and adversity. when the going gets tough, like what keeps you going?
Oh man, I think there are a lot of ways to question, and there are a lot of ways that the going can get tough. And I always bring it back to what my overall goal is with this sport. Like I said before, I want to see where I can make my standing among the best in the world. And it's really that potential that I know that I have within me that I always try to find how to bring out that smallest amount. And knowing that when it does get tough, that's just a phase. That's a phase. And when it gets really good as well, that's also just a phase. So celebrate the wins, learn from the moments where you're not winning all the time, and then just try to put your best foot forward every day.
That's really good. I like that. It's just like a phase, even the good and the bad, just a phase. Dang. For me, um, I have to rely on my team, my community, right? So you got to build a good team, and that's why I'm glad to be part of Classroom Champions. And when things are tough, I notice my brain um, turning into my worst enemy sometimes, and then I just have to catch that. So that's why I have good friends that do kind of call me out. Sometimes they're like, Cody, we love you. We notice you're being a little bit too negative. How about we switch that and think a little bit more I don't like positive, like, hey, think that you can do it, and that will help you get through the tough times. So I like the phrase live like you can. And it's not living like you could do whatever you want. Like, students, don't go and eat all the ice cream today. Like, please don't. You'll get a stomach ache if you do silly things, right? But you can do your goal. You can try. Like you can do better tomorrow than you think you can today. If that made any sense, but you can, yeah. Don't let your brain be your worst enemy. Let it be your best friend.
And how about you, Melissa? You get the mixed feedback from your classroom. You know, you're at a place where you're like, I wanted that medal. Like, how do you keep pushing?
Again, it's the love of what I do. And I think when we work so hard towards something that we want to see the results so badly. I can probably say this for all of you, and forgive me if I don't, but did you all love what you did when you first got into this sport? I didn't. I didn't love the 800. In fact, I hated it. I was a self-proclaimed sprinter first before I became an 800-meter runner. But the more success that you have, the more in love you become with the sport, and the more you want to showcase your talents. You want to showcase the talent of your team, because your team also pours so much time and energy so selflessly into you and your performance. And to me, that's why I kept going. I needed to show the world the work that I've put in. I need to show the world the work my team has put in.
So good.
Okay. I think you guys, thank you for being here, Kelly and Cody. It is a pleasure to have you as mentors here for so long. We can't wait to show you who you'll be mentoring this year. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Enjoy the rest of your day. Next, everybody. Bye. Okay, Christian, gear up, because next we have some new mentors coming in. These are mentors that are new to the Classroom Champions program. They are athletes that are so excited to get in and get their feet wet and see what it is we do here and the impact that they're going to have. So I believe that we have Sakura and Manio coming in right now. Hello. We have Devin and Cole too. Yes. Okay. Amazing. All right. I would love if we could start. Each of you, tell us what sport you do, where you're at in your career right now, and then we'll take it from there. Sakura, you start first.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Sakura Kokumai. I am a karate athlete for Team USA. I was the only female athlete to represent the US at the Tokyo Olympics. So I'm pretty proud of that accomplishment. I did miss out on bronze, so I finished fifth place. But to be able to go back to Tokyo, where my family's from, to compete representing the US has been a dream. And I am very excited to be here with you guys, and I can't wait to interact with all the students.
Thank you so much. Welcome. Devin and Cole?
Yeah, so we are both on the Canadian national luge team. We've both been sliding for about 10 to 11 years now and been partners for going on 6 years. And yeah, we slide at the highest level you can in luge and are really happy to represent Team Canada on the international stage.
Thank you for joining us. You guys have a special relationship and purpose here at Classroom Champions because you work together as a team. You have this special view on teamwork, and I think we'll touch base on that later. Manio, tell us more, my friend.
Hello, everyone. My name is Manio Mitchell. CT was good with you, boy. Hello, everyone. Glad to be here. I'm from the sport of track and field. I've been professional for about 11 years now. Happened to get a silver medal in the men's 4x4 back in London. Crazy story, which I'm sure people either know about or will hear about. But now I'm in the sport of bobsled for Team USA. So trying to make a little bit of history, doubling in both sports, and hopefully we can make some noise there, but I'm excited to be here.
Well, welcome freshman class of 23. Welcome
Yes.
to Classroom Champions family, community. We are very excited to have you here. Obviously, with the luge, some more crazy people. I don't understand how you guys are doing this, but really welcome. So you guys just heard from some of our veterans, our returning mentors on the impacts that the students have had on their lives, on their careers, the impact they've been able to make on their classes and teachers, and what this journey is like, right? And so I guess I'll throw it to Manuel because we run together, we've almost traveled the world together. If you can start off, what is something that you are looking forward to most about being a mentor with this program? Oh, you're muted. Mano, you still there?
Are we there now? There we go.
Oh
no.
Okay. I'm sure Mano, Devin and Cole, why don't we pass it to you guys? Yeah, what do you guys look forward to being mentors?
Yeah, to me, I'm looking forward just to hear all the stories from the students as well as, meet. I was in that position once too, and I'm really looking forward to be able to pass down some of the, lessons and wisdom that I've learned from my travels onto kids and, any students that are willing to listen.
Yeah, and I'm pretty much the same thing. I've had mentors over since I started like soccer and when I was younger, and now up to luge. Had mentors for teachers as well, but being able to be in that position to actually become the mentor is actually a really cool experience, and that's why I jumped at this opportunity to join you guys and try my best to become the best mentor I can for all these kids and listen to my story.
Very nice. And Secure?
For me, I'm probably gonna echo what they said, but with karate, I grew up practicing this space called the dojo. So we call our training space dojo, and it's basically like a school. So you'll have the instructor who's a head like teacher, and all of us are students. But how it works is that the older students will take care of the younger ones. So ever since I started karate, I always had somebody to look up to. Like I always had mentors in that training space. And I think being that kind of environment has naturally helped me to take care of the younger ones or make sure that I'm the right like person that they can reach out to when they do need help. So I'm just looking forward to interacting with all the kids and, mostly learning from them too. I think we all have experienced times where we're the ones teaching, but the kids actually teach us something more. So I'm looking forward to growing through this experience, but also sharing my journey and the lessons that I've learned through karate and my sport to the students as well.
That's great. And trust me that they are going to have a lot to give you. You're going to get some very interesting
Excited.
questions. So be sure, I will tell you for the live chats, know what your favorite color is. This is very common.
Like favorite color, I'm waiting for that one question where they ask me, have I broken a brick before? Like karate, you know how to break stuff. I'm like, no.
It's only going to get bigger and bigger. It's going to
Oh
might start with wood, and so just I mean, their imaginations are wild. So very
yeah, I'm
exciting.
excited. Yeah.
And Manio, welcome back. Yeah, what
I'm
are you
so
excited about for
sorry.
this
I'm
mentorship?
so sorry. So prime example right there, obstacles are going to arise, but being able to be in a leadership position where you can give real life examples of things that you've either gone through or experienced, and to be able to help these kids along the way and the teachers and everyone involved, just being able to just give back in that way and to be along the journey. I think that's one of the most important things is letting them know that you're right by them and you're by their side and you're going to be there for them, and to, again, just lead by example. So I'm excited.
That's great. Well, thanks for hopping back on. We really appreciate that. As we talk about resilience, perseverance, working through adversity, it happens. It's life, right? And so, one unique thing is with all of us, we all have our very unique stories, right? And how we got through our journeys, to our journeys, into our sports, are very unique to us. But I always like to highlight the mentors that played important roles in our journeys. And so, if you guys would like to share, maybe even give a shout out to someone that has made a difference in your life.
I'll go first if no one wants to take the jump. I would have to say I was first influenced just in sport in general, and kind of being open-minded and, not being afraid or breaking out of that shell by my first elementary school PE teachers, which were Bill Ellis and Miss Pam Fish. They've been instrumental in my growth as not only a student, but as an athlete as well. So I'm very excited for them and for my journey through them.
I guess I'll go next. I've had a lot of mentors growing up, but I would like to say one athlete. Amy, she was one of the athletes that I grew up with, and everything she did, I basically mimicked. What she was, how she dressed, how she trained. I love how she had on and off switch, like in training and out of training, how she carried herself. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. So I think growing up, me being a shy kid, I never, even talking here, it's still odd to me that I'm in this position. But as a shy kid that was always in the corner of the room, I was never the one that liked to talk in front of people, or let alone like represent the country and, perform in front of thousands of people. I didn't think that I was that kind of kid, but I think she got that out of me, and I'm standing here today. So huge shout out to her.
Yeah, for us, if we could jump in here, I'd say one of our, and I think this goes for both of us, one of our biggest mentors has been Tristan Walker, who was actually a former classroom champion. And, because luge is such a niche sport, and Tristan at the time was one of the top doubles athletes, he really helped us along with the ropes. When we first started sliding doubles, we hadn't really had any international experience. And with his guidance, he really helped us on the sled. And I think, he was a true mentor to us because he evolved from helping us out and became a close friend. So any experiences that we had, we really relished and learned a lot, as much as we could from.
I love that. Thank you all for sharing. I think in this program, you don't necessarily realize where you are in your sport and the impact you have on youth until you can be introduced to a mentorship program like this. And you see, Sakura, you mentioned it, like you don't realize where you are until these kids that our students are looking up to you for so much guidance. And it's really it's a twofold give back. They give to us, we give to them, and it's a beautiful relationship. Can each of you tell me, and Cole, maybe we'll start with you, what does mentorship mean to you?
Well, for me, I think just general definition, I think it just means giving back to the younger generation or whoever you're mentoring at the moment, making sure you can try and keep them on the right path and learning from your own mistakes. You can kind of help them try and avoid some of the bigger ones you had and make sure the path they have is still with some obstacles, because that's how you learn and grow and develop, but just making sure that you can give them proper advice, uplift them when they're feeling down if something goes wrong. I think that's what it really means to me, is just to always kind of be there and be supportive of who you're mentoring.
Thanks. Manio?
For me, when I think of mentorship, I think of the word provider. So being able to provide access, to give someone their lane, to show them the ropes, so to speak, and just being able to be available. Sometimes I think, young students, I remember myself going through different things, and I wasn't able to have anything to be available to me or someone to be available all the time. So just being able to give in that way and to really encourage these students and young athletes to just be better than what they were before they walked in the classroom. I think that's the main goal.
And Sakura, what does it mean for you?
For me, means by leading by example, but also giving them the tools so that they can make their own decisions in their own way. Because again, everybody has their own different journeys, and not everybody's the same. So I think the best way I could do is to be an example, and whenever they do like to seek help or guidance, information, I just want to make sure that I'm there for them so that they can make the right decisions.
You guys, those are perfect definitions of mentorship. I do want to give a quick shout out to Miss Lunston's class at Shaunavon Public grade 3 and grade 4 students. They're here watching live, and they can't wait to find out who their athlete mentor is going to be, which we're going to reveal very shortly. Here at Classroom Champions, we do talk about goal setting. We talk about perseverance. So I would love, Sakura, you start us off. Tell us an accomplishment that you're really proud of last year, and tell us what your big goal is for this year.
Oh, that's a really good question. What I accomplished last year, I think getting more balance. I to achieve anything in one thing, it's hard to have balance. At least for me, it was hard to have balance in anything. I was so hyper focused on my sport. But last year, I learned the importance of taking care of myself, hanging out with friends, hanging out with family. And the more I spent time doing that, that became like an energy to me to train even harder. And I think that has allowed me to enjoy the process of training more. And I started to look forward to tournaments, not thinking like it was more of a job. It's like, oh, I have this tournament, I have this, because we're a year-round sport. We start in January, finish in December. Mm-hmm. So I think learning that last year was a big step forward. And I know that will help me accomplish bigger goals next year.
Wonderful. And I love how it wasn't necessarily a big event that was your accomplishment. It was something personal for you. And I think that's really important for our students, honestly, to know that an accomplishment doesn't always need to be, an A+ on a test, or finishing first place, or making an Olympic team. It can mean, I can read one chapter of a book. It can mean I'm comfortable enough to tell my teacher I'm mad or I'm sad. So it doesn't always have to be an event. Devin and Cole, something you accomplished last year and your big goal for this year.
Yeah, I would say one of our biggest accomplishments, especially last year, was a fourth place finish in our home World Cup in Whistler. And it was amazing to have that finish in front of friends and family and having it at home. Like, there's no other feeling. But alongside that, it allowed us to realize that we could push ourselves further. You know, we had never dreamed that we would get to that level of competitiveness. And, you know, seeing that's a possibility, we know that we can keep pushing ourselves and keep pushing to get better, and hopefully one day end up on the podium and, you know, wherever our careers take us.
And I think for next season, we also have a home World Cup, so hopefully we can squeeze on the podium there. But if we can also try and keep a consistent streak of maybe like top sixes, top sevens throughout the whole season, I think that'd be a great step in the right direction for becoming a better athlete and a better team.
That's awesome. Well, obviously, we're very excited to follow your journey. You know, your support group has gotten that much larger. So very excited to see that play out. And we'll take it right back to you guys. Community is such a key part of who we all are, right? And especially as classroom champions, we see it as a family. And now your family has grown significantly. But who is your community that helps you reach your goals and even stay at the high level that you guys are at?
I think at this point in our careers, our community is huge. You know, most importantly, we have our parents who have been along the entire way. They started when we were so young, coming out to watch races and supporting us the entire way through. And it's grown. You know, we have at this point in our careers, our teammates, our coaches, this whole support system that's all there cheering us on, trying to get us to be the best we can. And yeah, hopefully through this, we can help pass that community on to others.
Wow, that is awesome. Teamwork makes a dream work, and that's so beautiful. Manio?
Yeah, community is huge for me. Obviously, and you can speak to this, when you're out there in that lane or when you guys are at Whistler, I know a little bit about Whistler myself, being from bobsled, but you're never there by yourself. There's so many more people that have gotten you to that point and that are rooting for you. And even those that may not be rooting for you, you just want to do your very best and give your best effort. So having that community around you, whether it be your teammates, your supporting cast, the doctors, the attorneys, all those different people that are involved, but especially folks back home that have watched you since day one in the sand. Just making sure that you make them proud by giving your best effort. I think community is everything.
Wow, that is awesome. And I think it's yeah, you have a sense of pride, right? Because even if you're an individual sport or team sport, you know that your badge, you've almost got this thing of honor, that you are representing them. It's not just about you, but that they helped play a big role in helping you get to wherever it is, and that you are doing it with them. And so I think that's really powerful. Sakura?
Oh, community is huge. My sport is an individual sport, and I spend a lot of time by myself in the training space and a lot of traveling alone to go to competitions. But I think during COVID, I learned that to have a community, you don't have to have them physically there with you. I have a good amount of community actually in Toronto. I spend time there to train. I have good people there. I live in San Diego. I have a community there. I have a community in Japan. So I think my experience was very unique in a way where I had people across the globe. And when I'm anywhere to compete, I either get messages, FaceTime calls, all these things. The energy that you feel, even when they're not there, is real. It sounds odd, but I think we've all experienced in a way during COVID times where we were all isolated. So community is huge. It's the motivation that keeps me going when I don't want to train sometimes. It comes from, just a feeling of not wanting to let them down, but I want to make sure I represent all of my community as well.
Sakura, I will say I'm already very excited to see these travels. You know, as athletes, we do have the privilege of going to very unique places maybe we only dreamed about. But I can tell you, even from Kelly, her experience, like your kids are going to want to know all these places. They want to know where you're staying, where you're training, what you're eating. And so please share as much as possible. That is so exciting because you just saying that just got me very excited.
That's so true. Our students love to know the inside scoop on your life. Like truthfully, they absolutely want to hear all the sports side of it, but they also want to get to know you as the person. And I think that's why this relationship is so special. Quickly, just before we end here, Devin and Cole, you two are in a really unique position because you're doubles luge. Teamwork is probably of the essence. It's very important for you two. Can you two expand on why teamwork and that communication piece is so important to have success?
Yeah, I think, you know, when we're going down the track, it's not just one person, right? Or even for skeleton bobsled, there's always just one pilot, but for doubles luge, there's two people driving the sled at the same time. So, and we don't just have earpieces in our head just talking to each other, right? So we have to talk about what we're going to do beforehand, slide down, regroup after, talk about what we did right, what we did wrong, and there's just a constant flow of communication for that whole training block when we're out sliding.
Yeah, and to add on to that piece, you know, when we're going down the track, Cole can't see. I'm the only one that can see. So, you know, Cole has to have, first of all, full trust in me that I can execute the curves and all of the drives correctly, as well as to have that communication piece for me to be able to signal Cole or for Cole to know where we are on the track to help me out with that drives. And together it makes one, you know, cohesive team. And we couldn't do it without each other.
It's mind-boggling to me that you guys do this together. Like Cole, you can't see sliding that fast down a track I can't even imagine it. But two, it sounds like there's a decent amount of trust that you both put into each other in order to do this event and to be successful at it. This is kind of a technical question, but how do you determine what the game plan is before you slide down that ice?
Well, if we're just going like first time on the track of the season or a new track, you go up and down, look at all the ice, look at how everything's looking, and then with our coaches and our support staff, we make a game plan of what are our technical things that we need to work on and get off right out the gate. That's step number one, and then it's just a leap of faith for that first few runs, and then hopefully it works out pretty well. But after that, then you kind of go into a rhythm after like second, third run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Like the work starts before we even take our first run, you know, walking together around the track. And it's similar. Some tracks have very similar components to others. So that'll be a familiarity to us where we'll look at that and be like, okay, we've seen this before. We know how to drive that. Where others will be completely new. And we sort of just guess. We're like, okay, you know, what are we going to try here? And this is where the mentoring has come in before, where we have teammates with prior experience that have been on these tracks, and we can bounce off of them and be like, okay, you know, what worked here for you? And it sort of is a team with us and our mentors, where they're helping us to figure out, you know, new tracks whenever we go to a new place, and we can help them if we, you know, figure out something that worked for us, and they could try it out as well.
Wow. Again, my mind is blown that you guys just even trust each other to this level. Incredible. Sakura, I've got a question for you because your world is so different than ours on the track. You know, Cole and Devin's talked about inspecting the ice and walking it out, and I'm sure there's so many different variables that play into really an outdoor sport, right? It's just completely different than our world. Do you go to different dojos, and I mean, is the flooring different? Have mentors give you cues on how there could be an advantage in one place versus another?
That's a really good question. The competition venue obviously is always different. The mats that we compete in, unfortunately, are all different too. They should be the same. Sometimes athletes will be skating around as if it's ice, and that's not what we do, right? So everybody will have their own tricks. We're female. There's two disciplines in karate: kata and kumite, forms and basically sparring. I do forms. I do floor work. Um, and we basically do a routine, maximum of 4 minutes, and we basically have to be glued to the floor. We can't be sliding from one corner to the other. And we're always the first one up. Day one, 9 a.m., always the first event. So we get the first step onto that mat. And every single time, the categories that goes after us will ask, is it slippery? Is it slippery? Like, what did you guys do? You know? So we are the ones that have to break it down before any of them goes up on the mats. But we do our best. We just have to trust in our trainings and trust in our skills to perform our very best. In terms of environment, it's just different crowds. Sometimes when you go different country, some countries will be louder, some countries will be more quiet. So we just have to make sure that we're tuned in that sense. The environment, because we're indoors, the weather doesn't really necessarily like change what we do. So if I screw up, it's basically my fault. All pressure is on us because there's nothing outside that should, environmentally affect our performance.
That's awesome. Thank you for that insight. I
Sure.
was really intrigued, right? Like if lighting or obviously there've got to be different variables at play, and it's great that you get the advantage of being the first on the floor. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks for sharing that.
of
And
course.
Manio, it's personal because I'm sad that you're leaving the summer games now to take on the winter. But tell us what this transition is like. You're going from blocks to downhill, right? You're living out cool running. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, CT, it's been a journey. It's been an interesting transition, so to speak. In track and field, running the 400 meters, I was around 185 pounds, 190 on a good day, to now being 225, and all power and speed, and just trying to encourage myself that it is a journey, and I have to make this transition, and it's a now more of a team sport. It's kind of like a 4x4, which you know about that as well. But now it's like I have to trust, like Devin and Cole said, I have to trust my pilot because he's the only one that has actual eyes on the ice. So I just do my job and I try to be the best component to the team that I can. And like I said, it's been a journey so far, but I'm embracing that journey and looking to have fun with it and hopefully stay upright on the ice.
Awesome. Well, congrats on the weight gain, but obviously, we wish you just good health, success, and for all you all, welcome. Like I said, class of 23, welcome to the community, to the family. We're so excited for this mentorship journey for all of you.
Thanks, everyone.
Well, awesome. So what an incredible journey this has been. And today we've witnessed and we've discussed really the power of mentorship that has been inspirational for athletes like myself and Melissa, for returning athletes like Kelly and Cody, the role that our teachers and our students are playing in our lives. But we strive to inspire and continue to find that fusion of sport and education, which is very unique. First and foremost, we want to just take the time to just show our appreciation to our remarkable athletes for their continued dedication and commitment towards this program, and playing an incredible role in the lives of our classrooms from Canada and the US. And so thank you for all that you are doing. Because we know just being a full-time athlete, also being a mother and a full-time athlete, a parent, that is just wow, what an accomplishment that you guys are doing and choosing to take on. And so we just want to thank you for that added commitment. Also, as I told all our athletes, we are going to be supporting you big time throughout your seasons on and off the track, the field, the court. but know that you are making a lasting impression that will inspire the future generations, our athletes, our leaders, our future leaders. We're just so grateful. And so thank you to all the athletes that really pour in and continue to be a part of our community.
Christian, you couldn't have said it better. Couldn't have said it better. But now we must do the exciting bit. Are you ready?
I'm ready. And I think
Okay.
all the people that have tuned in have been really anticipating.
Yes. Okay. It is time. Christian and I are going to come back on here, but it is time to unveil who your athlete mentors are for the year. Let it go.
Fantastic. Oh, thank you for your patience, and I hope that you guys are just excited as we are. though the live stream is ending, this is the beginning of a very exciting school year, a very exciting journey that we are all going to take on. And so we just can't wait to see all the incredible achievements that you guys have in store that lie ahead. To the teachers and athletes, if you haven't already, please check your email for anything that Classroom Champions has sent out, especially ones regarding the Flip account. This is going to be the video platform that we are going to be using, where you and the students are going to be able to engage and exchange messages that are tied to our lessons. And so be on the lookout and be sure to stay on top of that.
And to the students, the teachers, and the mentors who participated in this program, we want to wish you the very best in sport and school. Believe in yourselves, work hard, and never stop learning. Thank you to Classroom Champions for making this incredible program possible. And thank you to our athletes, students, and educators for being a part of this inspiring journey. Here is to a year full of success, growth, and the unwavering belief that you can achieve anything that you set your mind to. Good luck. And remember, the world is watching and you have the power to change it for the better. Christian, it has been a pleasure to co-host. Thank you. Thank you for this. I can't wait to do it again next year.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. This was an incredible event. Thank you to everyone that joined us, and can't wait to see you next year.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.